Today's selection is Behold the Lamb of Yah. The oracles of the UCI. 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober, and watch unto prayer. And above all things have fervent love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man has received the gift, even so minister the same one to another as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim gives, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yahshua the Mashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 29 through chapter 5 and verse 4. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you're sealed until the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Yahshua's sake has forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim, as their children, and walk in love, as the Mashiach also have loved us, and has given himself for us an offering and sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication, and all uncleanness, or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becomes saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather giving of thanks. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Keep your foot when you go to the house of Elohim, and be more ready to hear, than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and you upon earth. Therefore let your words be few. Exodus chapter 23, verses 20 and 21. Behold, I send an angel before you, to keep you in the way, and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him, and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come in to him and will sup with him, and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I have also overcame and am sat down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
All right, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Which is peace on Yahweh's holy Sabbath day. Welcome to another holy convocation that Yahweh has enjoined unto us here in Stone Mountain, Georgia. The song this morning was absolutely beautiful. I am absolutely just thrilled about the growth of our choir and the things that the challenges that we have grown past. And those are the things that we have to consider, that there will be unforeseen circumstances that Yahweh, of course, is there, but we have to overcome those things. And being a true father, he does not remove everything that is going to be in our path, because if he does, we are going to be the weakest children on the face of the earth. And all you have to do is look at those that are privileged and are not having to face any issues, and you will see just how the minute one bump of turmoil happens, that people are committing suicide, that they're jumping out of buildings, they're doing all of these things. You don't find those that grow up a certain way and grow up with hardships. When hardship hits them, it's just another day. They're not considering taking their lives. They're not considering going through those things. So we don't see as a fiery trial as a plus. We don't see that as a blessing from Elohim. We see that as some negative situation that we have to encounter. But when you consider later on down the line, as things start happening on a much broader and stronger scale, then we have to consider those trials, that they were absolutely a wonderful thing for us to go through, because the last thing you need is to figure out what a punch to your face feel like when you're in the championship fight. Somebody should have been done already punched you before you got to the championship. If that's the first time you felt a punch, you finna have a long night. Because this is all this dude do. He is the champion. He's the champion for a reason. Because he been knocking knuckles out for quite some time. And if this is the first time you done felt the punch, it's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be some serious problems. And understand, Lucifer is the champion of darkness. And this is who we're about to fight. This is who is about to give us his undivided attention. Right now, we have his attention. But in a minute, we're about to have his undivided attention. And I don't think we understand how powerful that is. We are so busy dealing with other things that we don't consider what the undivided attention of Lucifer means. That means nobody else on the earth is he trying to hurt at that moment. He doesn't care. I'm talking about everybody else. Forget what they've done. Forget how many people they've killed. Forget all of that. All I want to kill is Israel. Do you understand how powerful that is? That he ain't looking at nobody but you. And we are the ones who believe, we'll cry foul in a minute. Let us be in a game and somebody foul us, and then we foul, but then they see our foul, and then we say, oh man, this is unfair. This is unfair. They didn't see what they did to me. Well, consider this is what the adversary, the devil, is going to be doing. He's coming for absolute attention being shed on Israel and everybody else's thing just going under the table. That in itself is going to be problematic. I mean, we already deal with it now because we get it from Yahweh's side. From Yahweh's side, we got what? 7 times more. So we already feel like we're in a situation where things are unfair to us. Somebody can kill somebody on camera and it take 12, 13 minutes to do it. All they get is 20 years. You got people that stole a 6-pack of beer and got 25 years when they look like us. So we already get it on Yahweh's side. Imagine now adding Lucifer's side to that. And Yahweh not going to stop his just because Lucifer started. 7 times don't go away. 7 times you own that. See? Being the children of Israel, you own that. So your punishment is going to be 7 times worse than everything you get into. Then we got to add Lucifer's indignation against Yahweh's creation on top of that. So we have to be preparing ourselves, and Yahweh is preparing us, whether we know it or not. These everyday situations that we think and we saying this, this person and that person, it ain't got nothing to do with none of that. Yahweh, the earth and the fullness therein belongs to him, and he uses whatever he wants to use. He's using everything at his disposal to get you ready for what's about to happen to you. And we spending our time dealing with all these other things and not understanding that you are about to be in a championship fight. And he got the belt. And the only way to get it is you got to take it. Ain't no just stay in now for the rounds and we going to get the judge's decision. No, he owned them too. All right, he owned them. The only way for you to win is to knock him out. All right? If he don't go to sleep, you not winning. So you need to go ahead and get that through your head. The judges work for him. He let us know that when he told Yahshua, hey, you see all of these things? They are given unto me, and I give them to whom I will. That lets you know now all the judges is his. So if you're planning on some kind of fair treatment, you can go ahead and throw that out the window now. Either knock him out or you're losing. I want to read something here in 1 Peter chapter 4. It says, for as much then as the Mashiach has suffered for us in the flesh. Now, the song was entitled, Behold the Lamb of Yah. For as much then as the Mashiach has suffered for us in the flesh, arm yourselves likewise with the same mind. But the first time we go through something, we cry and foul. Are you considering the price that was paid for you that you couldn't pay for yourself? So arm yourself with the same mind that as he went through some things for you, you're going to have to go through some things for somebody else, and so on and so on. For he that has suffered in the flesh has ceased from sin, that he no longer should live in the rest of his time in the flesh to the lust of men, but to the will of Elohim. For the time past of our life may suffice us to have wrought the will of the Gentiles, when we walked in lasciviousness, lust, excess of wine, revelings, banquetings, and abominable idolatries. We strive to make sure it says when we walked. That's a past tense. But I understand that ain't past tense for everybody. When it said when we walked, that was like last night. Verse 4, wherein they think it strange that you run not with them to the same excess of riot, speaking evil of you. So when you, it lets you know how much misery loves company. When misery decides that they're going to go and do whatever they want to do, they need to convince you to do the same. And when you are not convinced, they speak evil of you. Who shall give an account to him that is ready to judge the quick and the dead? For this cause was the gospel preached also to them that are dead, that they might be judged according to men in the flesh, but live according to Elohim in the spirit. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober and watch unto prayer. And above all things, have fervent love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Not hiding it from one another. Love. If love is covering a multitude of sins, then it's the love that causes you to examine what is written in Yahweh's law and attempt to deal with people that are having an issue with one another. So you can tell the very ones that talk about love, you can tell they don't have it. Because if they understood what it was, they wouldn't just congregate and talk in a circle about one another. Love would cause them to say, all right, well, let me go get that brother so y'all can work this out. That's what love does. But what people do is just enter into cliques, stay in a circle, and talk about one another. Love covers the multitude of sin. If you have love, according to what's written in this book, then you're going to stop that. Well, man, come on, let's go have a conversation. Because this right here is growing out of hand. That's what love does. Love just don't sit there and listen to it and then let it affect you. So now you're looking at the person crazy. See, we got to learn what love is. And it takes the reading of this book to understand that. See, we all got our little preconceived notion about what love is. What you think love is don't mean a hill of beans to Yahweh. Yahweh has given what his definition of love is. But you got to search all deep down in this book to put that together. He don't just give you love is on page 6, chapter 12. No, you got to work for that one. And you're going to find that out when you start getting into relationships and you find out your definition of love ain't the same definition of love as the person in front of you. Then it gets interesting. Because now you got to work to figure out, all right, we got to make this love align. You say you love me, I say I love you, but we having some issues here. Why? Because their definition of love don't fit yours. That's what culture is for. See, when somebody grow up with the same culture, there is a greater opportunity that the definition of love will align. That's what we're trying to do. Verse 9, use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man has received a gift, even so minister the same, one to another as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim gives, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yahshua the Mashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Verse 12, beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial, which is to try you. See, our problem is we think all the trials is to try somebody else. That's why you ain't got your armor on, because you think every trial is for somebody else. And you can look at people and tell that their trial hadn't made it to their address yet. See, before mine made it to my address, I looked at those trials a certain way. I even spoke about it a certain way. Man, I hope I don't go where they going. Man, I wonder what they did. Oh, I remember that. I can tell you exactly how I felt before it showed up at my door. And then that trial to make me a better individual showed up. And it stayed at my house for a couple of years. So I can look and tell. And those of us who done been through it, we can look and tell when it ain't showed up at your door yet. Because you have that same look that we had before. Look at them. Ew. Yeah, you got that high, that pious attitude. Yeah, it ain't showed up at your door yet. But do understand, it has your address. And in due time, your address gonna come to the forefront. So be careful how you look at other people when they're going through their trials. Yours just ain't made it to your address with your name on it. See, when you got multiple entities in a house, it may make it to your address, but it wasn't yours. It came to your address, but it was only looking for him upstairs. Then there's one that come to your address and they ain't got nobody's name on it but yours. Everybody else in the house gonna be fine. No, this one is for you. Can't nobody else even open that package. So I tried to open it, I couldn't open it. No, it was a judgment, it had James on it. And can't nobody open this, but this is James' judgment. That's what say JJ on it. It's James' judgment. Hey, he the only one that's gonna be able to open that box. And it ain't gonna stop until it finishes. Beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial, which is to try you as though some strange thing happened unto you. But rejoice, inasmuch as you are made partaker of the Mashiach's sufferings, that when his glory shall be revealed, you may be glad also with exceeding joy. Why? Because now you vested. See, if any of y'all worked in a place and you got 401k, they tell you you got a vested balance. Then what you mean by vested? Well, I mean, you got to be here long enough and you got to go through enough things for you to be able to get what I offer on top of what you offer. See, what they say is we going to match your contribution. What you saying? Well, you put in $1, I'm going to put in $1. Oh, really? Yeah, but you got a vested amount. Like, let's say how long you been here. Okay, so now you get access to this amount. Y'all ain't knows the difference between workers and seat dwellers, and those that just come to get a certificate of attendance. So you got them people at high school graduation, they got a diploma, and you got those that got that certificate of attendance. And if you listen closely, you can hear it at graduation. They will call out graduation and call out all of the accolades, and then somebody else, they said they have been here for 4 years. That ain't what you want Yeshua to do. This brother got this. This sister got this. And, oh boy, over here, he been here. That is not, you don't want to, he been here. If you be reproached for the name of Mashiach, happy are you. For the spirit of glory and of Elohim rest upon you. On their part, he is evil spoken of, but on your part, he is glorified. But let none of you suffer as a murderer, or as a thief, or as an evildoer, or as a busybody in another man's matter. And sometimes people invite you to be busybodies in their matters. That matter don't concern you. They invite you to be a busybody. And somehow it's interesting, you know, I had never really looked at it like that. We think that a busybody is putting themselves into somebody else's matters. No, you're a busybody when you're in a matter that does not have anything to do with you. But people will put you in their business and then leave you there to start dealing with all of these things. It is up to you to take yourself out of that circle. Just because somebody put you in their mess don't mean you're supposed to stay in their mess. Yet if any man suffer as a follower of the Mashiach, let him not be ashamed, but let him glorify Elohim on this behalf. For the time has come that judgment must begin at the house of Elohim. Same thing that is said in the Old Testament. Judgment. Do all of these things, but make sure you start at my house. Go get all the wicked. Go get the ancients. Start at the elders. So all those that are of age and supposed to know better, kill them first. You need to understand how my Elohim operate. And start at my house. Don't start next door. I ain't never seen nobody start cleaning the neighbor's house first. Now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to clean your nasty house. It's just nasty over here. And when I get done, I'm going to go to my house. No, you should have cleaned your house first. Then you know enough about cleaning to help me clean mine. How you going to clean mine and yours nasty? And if it first began at us, what shall the end of them that obey not the gospel of Elohim? And if the righteous scarcely be saved, where shall the ungodly and the sinner appear? Wherefore let them that suffer according to the will of Elohim commit the keeping of their souls to him in well-doing, as unto a faithful creator. Let's begin today's sermon in Deuteronomy chapter 13. Today's sermon is entitled, The Fiery Trials of Faith. Deuteronomy chapter 13, and we're just going to read verses 1 through 3.
If there arise among you a prophet or a dreamer of dreams, and gives you a sign or a wonder, and the sign or the wonder come to pass, whereof he spake unto you, saying, Let us go after other gods, which you have not known, and let us serve them. You shall not hearken unto the words of that prophet or that dreamer of dreams, for Yahweh your El proves you.
That is the main underlining point. Yahweh proves you. It doesn't matter who invited you into a situation. It doesn't matter how that went. Yahweh is proving you. I don't care that you believe that the situation is for somebody else, that it's their situation. How you got in it? He's still proving you. Yahweh looks at how we deal with each level of a situation. Yeah, the main encounter may have somebody else's name on it. But what did you do when you were invited? I mean, we think that that gives us a cause. What happens if somebody invite you to do an armed robbery? Do you think your defense in court? Well, Your Honor, I wasn't going to rob the bank. They asked me to rob the bank with them. But you got in the car, right? Okay. Doesn't matter how you got there. See, the difference between the wise and the foolish virgins, the wise virgins knew to say, no, you're not getting my oil. What happened if we get to a situation and I don't have enough? No, you're going to have to go and secure some oil or some spirit by yourself. I cannot give you mine. Did you finish that, bro?
To know whether you love Yahweh your El with all your heart and with all your soul.
With all your heart. So he proves you so that he can know your level of love. Yeah, we might love Yahweh, but then we got limits and levels. You know, I love him up to this much. Or I love him as much as, to the point where I got to make a change. I ain't making no changes. I love him if he just leave me alone. I love him if he make me rich. I love him if he gives me a real stable marriage. I love him according to certain conditions. But he said, I want to know whether or not you love me with your whole heart. That's what the proving is about. Let's go to Acts chapter 20. One of the things I began to admire that I didn't really understand right away, that there are fighters that when they're going up against another opponent, they change their trainer or change the location of where they train. And I thought that was, interesting, because what happens is we're talking about a person who's undefeated and has never lost. Why would they change something if it's working? And that's our fault. That's how we think. I have won thus far. Why do I need to change? Well, the adversary that you are about to go up against has a certain set of features that you training the same way ain't gonna work. You going through the same things that you've gone through, that ain't gonna work with this adversary here. You're gonna have to change the way you train. You ain't never seen an adversary like this. And just like any other fight, there's always hype with the person who done won 20 in a row. And then here comes this one individual and beat him like it's his first fight. And it throws people off. How was he able to just manhandle him like that? He had a different skill set. That you have to change up your training. And that's why Yahweh allows things to come up upon us and against us. Because, yeah, we all have certain skills. But every now and then, he'll send you something else. Yeah, now wrestle with this. What is that? Change your skill set. This one is wicked on a level you ain't never seen before. You've seen this level of wicked, but you ain't never seen this one right here. And you might think Yahweh's doing that to hurt you. He's doing that to make you stronger. Now, next time, you're going to be able to pick out that wickedness quick. Go ahead, bro.
I was just going to say, the sad thing is when you get warning of your weakness and you don't adjust. It's like you're talking about fighting. Layla Ali told Ronda Rousey many times what her weakness was.
Mm-hmm.
But she never yet trained or changed to get that type of training.
Right.
And not once, but twice we saw that she was right. That is your weakness.
Right. But you know what? You know why it's hard to accept that? Because you're winning at the point that somebody tell you, hey, you got a weakness here. Do you see this belt? Do you see championship? Let me see yours. Oh, I'm sorry, you ain't got now. So it's hard for that individual to then hear that it's something I need, that I'm weak at. It's something that I need to build up on. What happened? Both of them boxers made her take a night-night. All that old fancy karate and judo and a regular boxer went night-night. She went night-night every time to the point where she retired. I don't even want to fight no more. See, that's what happened when you don't take, the things right. Same thing happened in the Word. All of a sudden people are like, I don't even want to be in the Word no more. Why? Because people told you what your weakness was. People tried to help you fix your little weakness. But then you went up against the right people with the right skill set. They done knocked you out. You done took night-night. Now all of a sudden you don't want to be in the Word no more. Right. We got some Ronda Rouseys, Ben Israels around here. They get one little knockout. They don't want to fight no more. I don't want to fight no more. I'm going to go to wrestling. When? That way we can practice the fight. That fake fighting. Yeah, with wrestling, they punch and stomp at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So it sound all glamorous. It ain't real. See, once you get knocked out a few times, now you want to go to fake fighting. But all you had to do was fix the big hole that everybody was trying to tell you that you had in your armor. Several people have told you, fix this. But the arrogant cannot listen to that. They got to keep going until they get knocked out. Go ahead, bro. Right?
But they want to see something and always want to check the signs and this and that, but because they don't see
And you know what? That's unfortunate that it's that way, but it's what Yahweh said. The Greeks seek after wisdom, but the children of Israel require a sign. See, you got to know not only your own intimate faults, but you got to also know your generational and family faults. So you got to look in there and see there's certain things. It's because I know I am the son of an alcohol lover. There's only so much alcohol I drink. People will be out there and they be like, yeah, man, Esaac drunk. What else? He did all of those things. The next time they be like, hey, man, you want to drink? Nah, I'm cool. Then I notice I got certain friends that get upset. What you mean? You cool? I said, here, man. Oh, I got this for you. Nah, man, I ain't drinking today. What, you on some kind of holy fast or something? You fasting from cognac? Is that what it is? This is a cognac fast? I ain't never read that. What is that? It's a cognac fast. What is that? What is that? They take it personal. Hey, man, this ain't about you. This about me dealing with my family weaknesses. Because I got to make sure it don't get me. You understand? And don't you let nobody talk you off what you know you got to do for you. But you got to recognize what that is. See? I recognize that I come from the loins of a dude that Hennessy is plenty. I realize that. So I got to operate in a certain way. Go ahead, brother.
Where are we on?
Acts 20 and verse 17.
And from Miletus he sent to Ephesus and called the elders of the church. And when they were come to him, he said unto them, You know from the first day that I came into Asia, after what manner I have been with you at all seasons.
And you know what? I realized too, I like that Hennessy. You know what I'm saying? That's the part that scared me the most. I looked at him, I go, no. Go ahead, brother, my bad.
Therapy, man, therapy.
I know, hey, man, sometimes you got to do therapy on yourself, you know? And you got to man up to do it. Go ahead.
Serving the Adonai with all humility of mind and with many tears and temptations, which befell me by the lying in wait of the Yehudis. And how I kept back nothing that was profitable unto you, but have showed you and have taught you publicly and from house to house, testifying both to Yehudis and also to the Greeks, repentance towards Elohim and faith toward our Adonai Yahshua HaMashiach. And now, behold, I go bound in the spirit unto Jerusalem, not knowing the things that shall befall me there.
Right, not knowing that I know I'm going into a situation of trouble. I know I have trouble waiting for me when I get to this location. But because my objective is to do this word, I'm going to go ahead and suffer what I got to suffer. Go ahead.
Save that the Holy Spirit witness in every city, saying that bonds and afflictions abide me. But none of these things move me, neither count I my life dear unto myself, so that I might finish my course with joy. And the ministry which I have received of the Adonai Yahshua, to testify the gospel of the grace of Elohim. And now, behold, I know that you all, among whom I have gone preaching the kingdom of Elohim, shall see my face no more. Wherefore I take you to record this day that I am pure from the blood of all men.
Right. Why do you find several times that as these brothers are finishing their course, that they end up having to do this? It lets you know that even in the walk of doing your work, you're going to always have some haters that you're going to have to deal with. Why Moshe got to say, I ain't stole nothing? Samuel got to say, I ain't took one ass from now one of them. Why these brothers have to do that when they getting ready to finish their course? Because among Israel is always Jake. You're going to always have to do that. And if the greatest of our men had to do it, what you think we gonna have to do? These the great. You don't get no better than Moshe, Samuel. You ain't get no greater than that. So if they had to do it, go ahead and prepare yourself. Go ahead.
For I have not shunned to declare unto you all the counsel of Elohim. Take heed therefore unto yourselves and to all the flock over the which the Holy Spirit has made you overseers, to feed the church of Elohim, which he has purchased with his own blood. For I know this, that after my departing shall grievous wolves enter in among you, not sparing the flock. Also of your own selves shall men arise, speaking perverse things, to draw away disciples after them.
Right, of your own selves. He said, look, the very ones that are among you right now, going with you, are going to offer some perverse teaching so that they can draw people directly to themselves. Man, if they had to deal with it, what make y'all think we ain't gonna have to deal with it? Go ahead.
Therefore watch and remember that by the space of 3 years I cease not to warn everyone night and day with tears. And now, brethren, I commend you to Elohim and to the word of his grace, which is able to build you up and to give you an inheritance among all them which are sanctified. I have coveted no man's silver or gold or apparel.
Now, I mean, it is amazing how many of these brothers have to do this. It is amazing. Why would a worker of Yahweh's word have to continually do this? That means there's accusations all along the line. He did this. He did that. Bring it. Show it. Stop talking about it. Bring it. You say somebody took something. You say somebody attempted. Bring it. Set it before the altar. Let's see it. But because we let those little private conversations go on, then it sows discord among the brethren, but they have no evidence of what that is they say. And it never came to the table because we kept it in a private conversation. Go ahead.
Yes, you yourselves know that these hands administered unto my necessities.
Right. I work with my own hands. The man saying, yeah. People have all of these, especially these Christian titles. He's a bishop. He's a this. He's a that. That man said, yeah, I'm a bishop, but I got a job. So don't think when you see me with stuff, oh, I bought him that. Yeah, I did that. Go ahead, bro.
And to them that were with me, I have showed you all things, how that so laboring you ought to support the weak, and to remember the words of the Adonai Yahshua, how he said, it is more blessed to give than to receive. And when he had thus spoken, he kneeled down and prayed with them all. And they all wept sore, and fell on Saul's neck and kissed him, sorrowing most of all for the words which he spake, that they should see his face no more. And they accompanied him onto the ship.
All right, let's go to Matthew chapter 15. Matthew chapter 15, and let's read verses 1 through 20.
Then came to Yahshua scribes and Pharisees, which were of Jerusalem, saying, why do your disciples transgress the tradition of the elders? For they wash not their hands when they eat bread. But he answered and said unto them,
now, what you begin to see is that at some point, those that have indignation against you are going to find some reason to have indignation. You may think that you are helping somebody, that you deal with one situation. They're just going to find something else. At this point, the discussion is you ate and didn't wash your hand. You playing, right? We got souls at stake. And you asking me about washing hands before we ate. When you have those that have indignation, it don't matter how many things you straighten out, they're going to still find indignation against you some way, somehow. And if they can go down to washing hands, come on, bro. Come on. Go ahead.
why do you also transgress the commandment of Elohim by your tradition? For Elohim commanded, saying, honor your father and mother. And he that curses father or mother, let him die the death. But you say, whosoever shall say to his father or his mother, it is a gift by whatsoever you might be profited by me, and honor not his father or his mother, he shall be free. Thus have you made the commandment of Elohim of none effect by your tradition. You hypocrites, well did Esaias prophesy of you, saying, this people draw near unto me with their mouth, and honors me with their lips, but their hearts is far from me.
Right. Beware of all those that have plenty chance of praise the Father, Abba Yah this, and Yahweh is merciful, but you don't see no fruits of any doings. They honor him with their mouth, and that's as far as it's gonna go. Beware. Go ahead, brother.
But in vain they do worship me, teaching for doctrines the commandments of men. And he called the multitude and said unto them, hear and understand. Not that which goes into the mouth defiles a man, but that which comes out of the mouth, that defiles a man. Then came his disciples and said unto him, Know you that the Pharisees were offended after they heard this saying?
And this is something that we have to understand, that Yahshua is offending people as he's talking. And soon as we get offended, that's all somebody have to do, offend us, and we have completely changed our how we're going to worship. I can guarantee you they're going to have a hard time when they see Yahshua. Because he was offending men, very rough men. You're talking about some fishers who out on sea. I think we used to looking at fishermen on TV, and you don't understand how difficult that job is to go out in some rough waters and fish. I don't think you understand how serious that job is. A buddy of mine went to fish on the ocean, and they had one of their partners that was talking all this rough, tough stuff. And he told him, hey, man, we going out in the Pacific. Hey, man, that water different. Ah, man, got out there on the water and threw up the whole time, didn't catch not one fish. Because he was holding the air. Right. What happened to big rough and tough? You talking all that junk until we got out here on the water. Go ahead.
Verse 13. But he answered and said, Every plant which my heavenly Father has not planted shall be rooted up.
Right. So if you want to see if Yahweh planted something, just wait. Don't look at everything because it's sitting out there as flowers in the vineyard. There's something out there in the field. Wait. See if when you come back a couple more weeks, see if it's still there. Then Yahweh didn't plant that. Because you'll find that the ones that Yahweh plant, people can go over there and pull with all their strength, and it ain't coming out that ground. That's what happened when Yahweh plants something. Go ahead.
Let them alone. They be blind leaders of the blind. And if the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into the ditch.
Right. And you got to be on a different level of a lack of understanding to let a blind person lead you. You got to be at a different... So you ain't never done this. You don't know what you're doing, but I'm going to follow you and not knowing what you're doing? You deserve to be in the ditch for following somebody who don't know where they're going, just as blind as everybody else in the line, but they leading. But you got to consider, Yahweh going to bring you into the deeper question. Why would you let a blind person lead you? Shouldn't you be leading the blind? How do you let a blind person lead you? That's going to be a very, very difficult question to answer. Go ahead.
Then answered Cephas and said unto him, Declare unto us this parable. And Yahshua said, Are you also yet without understanding? Do not you yet understand that whatsoever enters in at the mouth goes into the belly and is cast into the draught? But those things which proceed out of the mouth come forth from the heart, and they defile the man.
Right. So we take notice of some defiled things that are in someone's heart by what comes out of their mouth. And then we sit there and do nothing about it. So where's the love we say we have? I remember hearing a brother say another brother's name several times within the situation. I pull that brother aside. Hey, man, you might need to check what's going on in your heart. 2 times we were talking about one thing, and somehow this brother and his family came up. You might have something in there. Hey, whether the brother come against you, the sister come against you, you've done what you're supposed to do. Is that so difficult? But we sit in private gatherings and let that go on for years. You can't keep doing that. Because that person's heart is getting worse and worse and worse. And furthermore, if you ain't careful, it's going to bring your heart down too. You can't be in the presence of a war and not get antsy. You keep hearing bullets fly over your head. Sooner or later, you start gripping your pistol tighter. Just because them bullets ain't for you, you still hearing them. They're affecting you. And don't let arrogance tell you, oh, I ain't affected. That's a lie. Go ahead.
You know, the question was asked, how you let the blind lead you. And the whole thing is, everybody's afraid to go to leadership and authority and ask questions. That's why we sit in Christian churches for all these years and never once go and ask the preacher a question. But you sit there and you put up with whatever's going on. Even in these situations, the disciples said, don't you know the Pharisees was offended by this saying? And when you get down to where Cephas, they didn't even understand the saying.
Right.
So who's to say if they weren't offended?
Right.
But he stuck around long enough to, so explain this parable to us.
Right. And therein lies the difference between somebody who really wants their salvation. See, those who don't really want their salvation, anything draws them out. Anything causes them to run. Anything causes them to question whether or not they're going to continue to walk. Those who want their salvation, they sit around, they might wait. You see them, they just hanging around. Hey, man, what? Hey, man, ain't nobody here but the custodian. Why you still here? Oh, everybody gone? Okay, good. I had a question. Oh, that's what happened when somebody really want their salvation. See, if they too embarrassed to ask in front of people, they just hang around till everybody leave. But they are going to seek some understanding about what it is they're dealing with. That's the difference between the people who want their salvation. You can tell when somebody wants something, they go after it differently. And there's some things that we have to make a decision. Do you want it? Because when it talks about the individual who found this great pearl, he went and sold everything he had and went and purchased that one. He said, oh no, this is something of great price. I'm gonna do away with everything I got to get this right here. That was showing how much they valued their salvation. And if your salvation is of no value to you, anybody can talk to you and pull you off of it. Anybody can, any situations that don't even involve you can draw you out. Your salvation is not precious to you. It would be like Esau that sold his birthright for some pottage. And what did it say? Oh, he despised his birthright. Because if he cared anything about it, he wouldn't have sold it for so little. You have to ask yourself, what are you selling your salvation and things for? What is the price? What are you getting out of it? Friendship, camaraderie? Elohim is going to be ashamed of your price. Because he knows how valuable it is. And he's going to be really pissed that you sold it for so little. Damn, that's all you got? Did you not understand what I gave you? And you sold it for that? Camaraderie, to hang around some people? To be accepted in a clique? You sold it for that? Did you not understand how precious it was? At least you could have told me, hey, I'm rich forever. Hey, at least some of the people in Hollywood can say, hey, at least I'm rich. I sold it for something. You look around here and people selling theirs for beans and wieners. And I'm talking about pork and beans. You ain't even supposed to have pork in your beans. Go ahead, brother. Did you have something?
Like the book says, he who hates his brother walks in darkness. Understanding that when we go through things in this camp, we need to bring to the forefront and expose these things instead of hating our brother, like, oh, you telling me you better or I should fix this. But when we bring these swords together, we're supposed to be sharpening each other. Because, like you said, Yahweh's building us up here where he placed his name here. So when other people come through that door, we could, handle that business. We ain't got time to be in our feelings dealing with that.
Well, brother, I remember when the situation happened concerning you And as we got ready, this is how you see the difference in dealing with some situations. There were some things that happened concerning you. We got ready to bring that thing to the forefront, and the individual took off running. Never seen him again. When it came time to deal with it in righteousness, they didn't want to have a righteous forum. What they want to do, go around in private circles and discuss things. No, let's sit down as men and women amongst the congregation and let's hash it out. Pew! Got the hell out of here. But they wanted to go to everybody and talk about a situation, but no, let's get like-minded people in the room and let's deal with it. They want to do that because that way they cannot control the narrative. If you're going around to private individuals and talking, you can control the narrative. No, let's get everybody in the room. Let's let everybody talk. Now, the same individual had done call 2 forums for other people. When it was time for their forum, they ran over 4 people getting the hell out of the parking lot. But we didn't even have to go through with it. All we had to do was say, all right, let's have it. They got out of Dodge. The situation handled itself. But it wasn't going to handle itself as long as we kept it in those little private circles. But now, because it didn't get taken care of, this brother was gone for about 2 years. How long he was gone? He was gone. See, thinking that the other individual was still here. But you see how you think you're doing something right, and what you're doing is making things worse? Them people never get help for their situation. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 19. For out of the heart proceeds evil thoughts, murders, adulteries, fornications, thefts, false witness, blasphemies. These are the things which defile a man, but to eat with unwashen hands defiles not a man.
All right, let's go to Ezekiel chapter 14. Ezekiel 14, and let's read verses 1 through 11.
Then came certain of the elders of Israel unto me, and sat before me. And the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, these men have set up their idols in their heart, and put the stumbling block of their lawlessness before their face. Should I be inquired of at all by them?
Now, you have to then look at this. Yahweh sees how we deal with things. But then when something hit the fan and shows up in our life, and then we need to go and talk to Yahweh, he's going to consider how you've dealt with him before. He's going to consider how you've dealt with other things. Go ahead.
Therefore speak unto them, and say unto them, Thus says the Adonai Yah, every man of the house of Israel that sets up his idols in his heart, and puts the stumbling block of his lawlessness before his face, and comes to the prophet, I, Yahweh, will answer him that comes according to the multitude of his idols.
I will answer him according to the multitude of his idols. That may be extremely confusing. Go ahead.
That I may take the house of Israel in their own heart, because they are all estranged from me through their idols. Therefore say unto the house of Israel, Thus says the Adonai Yah, Repent and turn yourselves from your idols, and turn away your faces from all your abominations. For every one of the house of Israel, or of the stranger that sojourns in Israel, which separates himself from me.
Right. You got to understand something. When people start getting off into dealing with a different spirit, they're going to separate themselves from you. You don't have to worry about separating yourself from them. All of us had, most of us, depending on where we were when we came in the word, we had a set of individuals that we were around. Once you start speaking that word, you find out that circle end up changing. They start hearing that word and it repels them. You ain't got to worry about changing nothing. Speak the word of Elohim and watch what it do. Go ahead.
And sets up his idols in his heart, and puts the stumbling block of his lawlessness before his face, and comes to a prophet to inquire of him concerning me, I, Yahweh, will answer him by myself. And I'll set my face against that man, and will make him a sign and a proverb, and I'll cut him off from the midst of my people, and you shall know that I am Yah. And if the prophet be deceived when he has spoken a thing,
check that out. Yahweh will deceive a prophet. He will give somebody an erroneous prophetic vision. Go ahead.
I, Yahweh, have deceived that prophet, and I'll stretch out my hand upon him.
Wait a minute. So Yahweh will deceive a prophet by giving them a deceptive vision, then punish them for the deceptive vision that he gave them. Man, better find somebody to play with. You ain't afraid of Yahweh because he ain't showed you the right stuff. But why would he give you that? That means it was something that wasn't right in the heart to start with, for him to even give him a deceptive vision. Go ahead.
And will destroy him from the midst of my people Israel. And they shall bear the punishment of their lawlessness. The punishment of the prophet shall be even as the punishment of him that seeks unto him.
Wait a minute. The punishment of the prophet shall be even as the punishment of him who goes to listen to him. Go ahead.
That the house of Israel may go no more astray from me, neither be polluted any more with all their transgressions, but that they may be my people, and I may be their Elohim, says the Adonai Yah.
All right, let's go to Acts chapter 5.
But a certain man named Ananias, with Sapphira his wife, sold a possession and kept back part of the price, his wife also being privy to it, and brought a certain part and laid it at the apostles' feet. But Cephas said, Ananias, why has Satan filled your heart to lie to the Holy Spirit and to keep back part of the price of the land? While it remained, was it not your own? And after it was sold, was it not in your own power? Why have you conceived this thing in your heart? You have not lied unto men, but unto Elohim.
But because it's men that we see, we then believe that the things that we are committing are against men, not considering the position that these men hold. They are still men. They are earthly men that have likes and desires and problems just like everybody else. But because of the job that they have, when they told a lie, they were not lying to the man. They were lying to Elohim. And the faster we figure that out, the better off we're going to be. See, that's what people don't understand, the difference between once they swear you in at court. Do you promise to blah, 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 blah. You tell a lie after that, you just lied to the court. You know that lying is jail time? See, people lie so much. I mean, we lie. Some of us need to be the Lion King. I mean, just need to name the child, Simba. I mean, they lie so much. But you lie in the right settings, everything changes. There's something serious when they ask you, you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth? And we're so accustomed to lying, we're like, yeah, I'm going to do, I'm something like that. And tell that lie after you get sworn in. They can give you a charge for each one of them lies that come out of your mouth. Go ahead.
And Ananias, hearing these words, fell down and gave up the ghost. And great fear came on all them that heard these things.
Now, understand, great fear came on all them that heard these things. See, the liar and the deceiver is going to ride it out. Because some of us, that's the only way we're going to change. We're going to have to ride it out until the building fall down on top of us. Okay? So those people can't be saved. What happens is those people are used as examples to save other people. Go ahead.
And the young men arose, wound him up, and carried him out, and buried him. And it was about the space of 3 hours after, when his wife, not knowing what was done, came in. And Cephas answered unto her, Tell me whether you sold the land for so much? And she said, Yes, for so much.
And it is amazing that you have a husband and a wife that have agreed to be deceptive together. But hey, like minds think alike. They two become one. They have entertained the same deceptive spirit. So they're gonna tell the same lie to protect one another. Because it's one lying spirit that's leading them both. Go ahead.
Then said Cephas unto her, how is it that you have agreed together to tempt the spirits of the Adonai?
Right, because it shows you how they value their own connection over the love of Elohim. All those things when he says, love Elohim with all your heart. See, this is where the all your heart converges into your personal life. This just showed neither one of them could love Elohim like that. They had higher agreements. So you're going to learn if you get up high enough in some of those dastardly little groups, that they'll tell you that once you join this group, it overrides every covenant that you have. Even the covenant of marriage or anything like that, this group goes above that. Well, Yahweh said, love Yahweh your Elohim with all your heart, mind, and soul. Then he brings a situation, and he's going to see. Let's see how much you love. Let's see that love that keep coming out of your mouth. Let's see if it'll come out of your body. Let's see if your actions show that love that your mouth be talking about. And here came a situation, and neither one of them loved Yahweh like that. It's amazing how much we can love when we're reading, and then when life comes, we forget to love. Go ahead, brother.
Behold, the feet of them which have buried your husband are at the door, and shall carry you out.
Right, but if she loved Elohim with all her heart, she wouldn't have told that lie unto Elohim. But then again, she didn't see Elohim, she saw men. But you see how one problem in the heart causes another problem in the heart. Now your perception of what's happening is different. Now you're standing before the man of Elohim telling lies and don't think that you lying unto Elohim. See, it's something to help your heart get right there. But had any one of them loved Elohim with all their heart, mind, and soul, it wouldn't have got that far. Somebody would have said, you know what, I can't do that. And had the woman told him when they came, the question was, how have y'all agreed? So at the point, if she had said, you know what, baby, that's wicked, I'm not doing that. No, this is what we're going to do. Baby, I'm not doing that. Well, I'm the man of the house. This is what we're going to do, baby. I'm not doing that. So the man can go ahead and do that. I'm not doing that. All right, well, we'll change it then. The house would have been saved. But then the whole house is gone. Because they made an agreement to be deceptive together. Go ahead.
You know, even when she came in, she had one last opportunity to save
She sure
herself.
did. She sure did. But she wanted to be with her husband, and that's what she got. They got matching plots. You know? Go ahead.
Then fell she down straightway at his feet, and yielded up the ghost. And the young men came in, and found her dead. And carrying her forth, buried her by her husband. And great fear came upon all the church, and upon as many as heard these things.
Well, there you go. They together. Hey, to death do them part. Death did it. Go ahead.
And by the hands of the apostles were many signs and wonders wrought among the people. And they were all with one accord in Shlomo's porch. And of the rest there's no man joined himself to them, but the people magnified them. And believers were the more added to the Adonai, multitudes both of men and women, insomuch that they brought forth the sick into the streets, and laid them on beds and couches, that at the least the shadow of Cephas passing by might overshadow some of them. There came also a multitude out of the cities round about unto Jerusalem.
Consider that. Just the shadow of him passing by would heal them. We're talking about the same dude that denied Yahshua. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about the same dude. I swear I don't know the man. But that fall made him stand stronger. We're talking about this kind of power he got. Go ahead.
Bringing sick folks and them which were vexed with unclean spirits, and they were healed, every one of them. Then the high priest rose up, and all they that were with him, which is the sect of the Sadducees, and were filled with indignation, and laid their hands on the apostles and put them in the common prison.
Right. See, you keep healing people and you might get beat up. Check that out. They were filled with indignation. For what? Why was you coming out here and making people better? Oh, didn't know that was a crime. Go ahead.
But the angel of the Adonai by night opened the prison doors and brought them forth, and said, Go stand and speak in the temple to the people all the words of this life. And when they heard that, they entered into the temple early in the morning and taught. But the high priest came, and they that were with him, and called the council together, and all the senate of the children of Israel, and sent to the prison to have them brought. But when the officers came and found them not in the prison, they returned and told.
So they have councils where they come together and make these decisions. You find that Jake hate the councils. Jake rather have private conversation than having an open council dealt with in righteousness. Folk gonna have to make a decision what they're gonna deal with, because this book say the same thing from beginning to end. You're gonna find these counsels in here from the front of this book to the end of this book. You don't like that? Go find something else. Go ahead.
Saying, The prison truly found we shut with all safety, and the keepers standing without before the doors. But when we had opened, we found no man within. Now when the high priest and the captain of the temple and the chief priests heard these things, they doubted of them whereunto this would grow. Then came one and told them, saying, Behold, the man whom you put in prison are standing in the temple and teaching the people. Then went the captain with the officers and brought them without violence, for they feared the people, lest they should have been stoned.
Right, and you see how people act one way in the presence of people. They act a different way when all those people are not around. Go ahead.
And when they had brought them, they set them before the council. And the high priest asked them, saying, Did not we straitly command you that you should not teach in this name? And, behold, you have filled Jerusalem with your doctrine, and intend to bring this man's blood upon us? Then Cephas and the other apostles answered and said, We ought to obey Elohim rather than man. The El of our fathers raised up Yahshua, whom you slew and hanged on a tree.
So then you see where this line is. We ought to obey Elohim rather than men. When you love Yahweh with all your heart, mind, and spirit, the decisions come, and they could have made the decision of safety. Well, look, this is what the law says. So we need to just do it like this because that's what the law says. No, I'm going to obey my Elohim. Me loving him with all my heart, mind, and soul says I'm going to deal with him first, and whatever law I encounter comes after that. See, we get a chance to read. We get a chance to say all them little fancy things that come out of our mouth. But then life going to give you an opportunity. And then we're going to see if those actions match the things that proceeded out of your mouth. And Yahweh going to do that. Because he want to know. He is the inquiring mind that want to know. Let me see if you're going to do that stuff that you said or that stuff you sung about. Let's see. It sounds real good when you talking. Go ahead.
Him has Elohim exalted with his right hand to be a prince and a savior, for to give repentance to Israel and forgiveness of sins. And we are his witnesses of these things, and so is the Holy Spirit, whom Elohim has given to them that obey him. When they heard that, they were cut to the heart, and took counsel to slay them. Then stood there up one in the council, a Pharisee named Gamaliel, a doctor of the law, had in reputation among all the people, and commanded to put the apostles forth a little space. And he said unto them, You men of Israel, take heed to yourselves what you intend to do as touching these men.
Now, wait a minute. He was a respected person of teaching the law, a doctor of the law, which means that he is among the group. There stood up one in the council, a Pharisee. Now, all of his group is against Yahshua. How many people got enough power to stand against the group that they in for righteousness? Or we just agree with the clique? This is what my clique said. This is what we going to do. He's standing outside of the group that he's in. He's respected because of what he has, and he puts his respect on the line. I ain't just agreeing with y'all because we together. We in the same group. But according to what's written here, y'all ain't dealing with this right. And you find that's what we have a tendency not to do. Because we in a clique with somebody, but they still keep doing things wrong. Where were you? You're supposed to know the word. Where were you? We say we know the word. Where were you? Instead of agreeing with them, you were supposed to help them stand up. But what you did was help them fall down. Go ahead.
You know, what's interesting is that you later on find that his own student has to make the same stand.
Right. Right.
But before these days rose up Thaddeus, boasting himself to be somebody, to whom a number of men, about 400, joined themselves, who was slain, and all, as many as obeyed him, were scattered and brought to naught.
Right. Blind leading the blind. Go ahead.
After this man rose up Yehudis of Galilee in the days of the taxing, and drew away much people after him. He also perished, and all, even as many as obeyed him, were dispersed. And now I say unto you, refrain from these men, and let them alone. For if this counsel or this work be of men, it will come to naught.
Right, and that's all you got to do. You ain't got to keep going around messing with somebody. Leave them alone. If it is of Yahweh, it's going to do what it's going to do. If Yahweh has allowed it, it's going to do what it's going to do. Go ahead.
But if it be of Elohim, you cannot overthrow it. Least happily you be found even to fight against Elohim.
Right. See, this is where you got to get your feelings out the way. Imagine Yahweh has ordained something, but, of course, you ain't on that pay grade, so he ain't tell you. Now you all fighting against something that Yahweh has set up. Now you fighting against the spirit. That's why you learn to leave stuff the hell alone. You don't know what Yahweh don't have to come and ask you or tell you, hey, look, man, I'm going to do something over here on the other block over there. I want to make sure you know about it. Boy, stop. He got to tell you what he doing. Go ahead.
Even with the situation he's talking about, even with that, we just got to sit back and let Yahweh do what he's doing, because we see 400 men were pulled away. But what was the end results? They were slain.
Right.
2/3 of Israel has to be cut off.
Exactly.
Let it do what it's going to do.
And you find that some of us are just prone to getting pulled off. You're talking about lost sheep. There's certain sheep that you find they always down lost. Now, why the hell are you always a lost damn sheep? Every time we come over here, you lost. Then why you always over there? There's plenty of grass over here. Why every time we come around, you lost somewhere else? Right. There's something that's just prone to being lost. Go ahead.
And to him they agreed. And when they had called the apostles and beaten them, they commanded that they should not speak in the name of Yahshua, and let them go. And they departed from the presence of the council, rejoicing that they were counted worthy to suffer shame for his name.
Right, the very thing we read at the opening. Instead of them sitting there whining about what they went through, they rejoiced. Said, man, do you understand? We got beat for righteousness. We got to see that's the difference between somebody who went to jail for stealing and somebody who went to jail marching for rights. They're not in the jail feeling the same way. See, the person who went to jail because they were marching for the rights of the people, because they believe that people should be able to sit anywhere on a bus, they have a different mindset when they go to jail. When you go to jail and it's for stealing, I guarantee you that picture ain't the same. Turn to the side. That picture different. Because in your heart, you know why you went to jail. But the person who went to jail for righteousness, they taking that picture with pride. Turn to the side. What? I know why I'm in here. Go ahead, bro.
And daily in the temple and in every house they cease not to teach and preach Yahshua HaMashiach.
All right, let's go to 2 Peter chapter 2. Now let's start that at verse 1.
But there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who privily shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Adonai that brought them, and bring upon themselves swift destruction.
They are bringing upon themselves swift destruction, bringing damnable heresies, attempting to be teachers, and they don't have the ability to do so. Go ahead.
And many shall follow their pernicious ways, by reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of. And through covetousness shall they with vain words make merchandise of you, whose judgment now of a long time lingers not, and their damnation slumbers not. For if Elohim spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell, and delivered them into chains of darkness, to be reserved unto judgment, and spared not the old world, but saved Noah the eighth person, a preacher of righteousness, bringing in the flood upon the world of the ungodly, and turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemned them with an overthrow, making them an ensample unto those that after should live ungodly, and delivered just Lot, vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked. For that righteous man dwelling among them, in seeing and hearing, vexed his righteous soul from day to day with their unlawful deeds.
Right. Are we vexed by hearing the conversations of the wicked? Go ahead, bro.
The Adonai knows how to deliver the godly out of temptations, and to reserve the unjust unto the day of judgment to be punished.
Wait a minute. Now, this may appear in a different form of than what you automatically perceive when you read it. The Adonai knows how to deliver the godly out of temptations and to reserve the unjust unto the day of judgment to be punished. Now, that sounds one way. Let's put that in real life application. The Adonai knows how to deliver the godly out of temptation. You may get fired so that you out of that situation. He reserves the unjust. They keep their position so they can stay there and get punished. But it may look like you the one that took the loss. Go ahead, bro.
But chiefly them that walk after the flesh in the lust of uncleanness and despise government. Presumptuous are they, self-willed. They're not afraid to speak evil of dignities.
Right. Because they don't consider what it says. When you do these things unto them, you've done it unto me. They don't consider that they're doing anything to Yahshua. They don't consider the jobs or position that somebody has. They just say whatever they feel like saying. Go ahead.
Whereas angels, which are greater in power and might, bring not railing accusations against them before the Adonai. But these, as natural brute beasts, made to be taken and destroyed, speak evil of the things that they understand not, and shall utterly perish in their own corruption, and shall receive the reward of unrighteousness, as they that count it pleasure to riot in the daytime. Spots they are and blemishes, sporting themselves with their own deceivings while they feast with you, having eyes full of adultery, and they cannot cease from sin, beguiling unstable souls, and heart they have exercised with covetous practices, cursed children.
Right. They're able to beguile unstable souls. Check that out. Beguiling unstable souls. So you find that those unstable souls start gathering together with other unstable souls. You have to let that do what it do. Otherwise, they're amongst you causing problems. Go ahead.
Which have forsaken the right way, and are gone astray, following the way of Balaam the son of Besor, who loved the wages of unrighteousness, but was rebuked for his lawlessness. The dumbass speaking with man's voice forbade the madness of the prophet.
That's Kish calling somebody a dumbass. So that y'all know that. Don't count that under me. All right? Go ahead.
These are wells without water, clouds that are carried with a tempest, to whom the mist of darkness is reserved forever. For when they speak great swelling words of vanity, they allure through the lust of the flesh, through much wantonness. Those that were clean escape from them who live in error. While they promise them liberty, they themselves are the servants of corruption. For of whom a man is overcome, of the same is he brought in bondage.
While they promise them liberty, they themselves are the servants of corruption. They promise you a thing that they themselves don't even have. Go ahead.
You know, that brought to mind, remember when the dude who took over right after our elder, he had this thing about coming out of Egypt? And it was his slight way of trying to say that he was saving the people from what elder had taught.
Yep.
And then when you push come to shove, you figured out that he was a nutcase.
Right.
That's what came to mind when I just read that.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's interesting when people attempt to do something or invite you to something that they don't even have the ability to do themselves. And what was interesting is when they decided to follow that nutcase and we kept trying to tell them, they came out against us. Next thing you know, they somewhere else done sold all their belongings, done sold their property, changed all their jobs, went up there, and then he decided to tell them that he was the comforter, the spirit, or the holy blanket, whatever the hell he decided to tell them. Then they realized, oh, damn, we done followed the wrong dude. We told you that several years ago. But see, that's Jake. Stuff got to fall on top of Jake. Jake got to catch on fire and burst into flames. Then they realized, damn, we made the wrong decision. But you know what Jake won't do? He will never humble himself. To this day, there are goo gobs of people who we said that to. When we see them, they get nervous. Ooh, there goes something. What I do to you? All I did was told you that you was following a box of nuts. That's all I did. Well, why you get scared every time you see me? I ain't did nothing to you. But tell you the truth, have I become your enemy because I told you the truth? But instead of coming saying, you know what, I apologize for coming at you when you tried to tell us about this situation. Instead of doing that, they just act like they don't see you. They act like they have no use of their side vision. Man, come on, man. For real? You see them at the farmer's market and y'all right there by the fruit, they get the hell on and go by the vegetables. Wow. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 20. For if after they have escaped the pollutions of the world through the knowledge of the Adonai and Savior Yahshua HaMashiach, they are again entangled therein and overcome. The latter end is worse with them than the beginning. For if it had been better for them not to have known the way of righteousness, than, after they have known it, to turn from the holy commandment delivered unto them. But it has happened unto them, according to the true proverb, the dog is turned to his own vomit again, and the sow that was washed to her wallowing in the mire.
The pig that was washed returned to wallowing in the mud. Why? Because that's the only way it can be comfortable. You keep trying to clean something that is filthy. This is what some of our hanging out is about. We keep thinking that we're going to help clean something that's filthy. Man, a pig, the only way it can clean itself is the only way it can keep cool is to stay in the mud. You can't clean a pig, man. It needs the mud to stay cool. It does not have glands to sweat. It needs sloppy mud. You cannot clean such a animal. And you cannot clean such individuals. You're going to do all your work. As soon as you look over there, they right back in that mud. Man, didn't I just clean you up? Right. Let's go to Ephesians chapter 6. Ephesians chapter 6, and let's read verses 10 through 20.
Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Adonai and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of Elohim, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil.
Right. Understand, we have a battle coming to us, and which are in the likeness of something that we have never seen. You are not, there ain't nothing you have gone through that you're going to be able to compare this to. Combine all your altercations together and make them one, just to even get some glimpse of the situation that we are about to encounter. Go ahead.
For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of Elohim, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand.
Right. It says, get the whole armor. What good does it do for you to just put on the helmet and then they shoot you in the chest? Go ahead.
You know, this last part, and having done all, to stand. Some people fall and they just lay there and play possum.
Yeah. Yeah. It's sad. Go ahead.
Standing therefore, having your loins girt about you with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith you shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked, and take the helmet of salvation, and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of Elohim, praying always with all prayer and supplication in the Spirit, and watching thereunto with all perseverance, and supplication for all saints. And for me, the utterance may be given unto me, that I may open my mouth boldly to make known the mystery of the gospel, for which I am an ambassador in bonds, that therein I may speak boldly, as I ought to speak. But that you also may know my affairs, and how I do, Tychicus, a beloved brother and faithful minister in the Adonai, shall make known to you all things, whom I have sent on to you for the same purpose, that you might know our affairs, and that he might comfort your hearts.
All right, let's go to Matthew chapter 24.
Matthew chapter 24 and verse 1. And Yahshua went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him for to show him the buildings of the temple. And Yahshua said unto them, See you not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down.
Right. But we got people paying all this money to go to the Holy Land so they can pray at the Wailing Wall, telling everybody that it's the wall of the temple, and then you do 5 minutes of research and you'll find them admitting that it is not the wall of the temple. 5 minutes is all it takes. Put 5 minutes into that and you find out that they are making merchandise of the people, having them come put their prayers in the holes of the wall and bumping their head up against the wall. People go over there spending all this money. But it takes about 5 minutes of research for you to find out, wait a minute, even they admit themselves this ain't it. Because for it to be it, then Yahshua got to be a lie. He said it wouldn't be one stone left upon another. So how the hell a wall left? Go ahead.
And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be?
You see what happened when people want their salvation? They operate differently. See, Any manner of thing don't just draw them off. Even when they don't understand, they come privately. Excuse me, can I talk to you for a second? That's what happens when somebody wants their salvation. They don't just throw it away for any price. Go ahead.
You know, brother, you don't know how many times I sit in the dining room, somebody say, oh, I got something to talk about. Well, go ahead. No, man, he probably busy. He probably busy. I just sit there and be like, okay.
You know, but I tell you what, man, when we understand, you know, that you know, we have to redeem the time when everything is said and done, you're going to think back on all of them shoulda, couldas. See, I watched that when my elder was around his dying day. I watched all them people go through shoulda, woulda, couldas, and that. I ain't had none of them. Because everything I wanted to ask, I asked. Whether it was foul, whether it was absolutely I asked everything. And some of them questions, he's like, boy, you nasty. All right, let me show you something. There it is. But I didn't have no worries when he died. They did. Because now they think about all the stuff they didn't do. Too late. It's not my problem. See, you let pride keep you from handling some things. I didn't have that problem. I didn't have that problem at all. Everything I wanted to know, I got in there. Go ahead, bro.
And what shall be the sign of your coming and of the end of the world? And Yahshua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am the anointed one, and shall deceive many. And you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in divers places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another.
Right. See, situation and circumstance has to occur so that you can see what kind of heart somebody has. See, once the other individual came after my elder, you know, the box of nuts, once he came, it was very valuable because there were some people that were around me who I thought were my right-hand man. As soon as I start going through some things, they showed that that wasn't what they were. I needed that to happen in my life because darkness exposes who really has a light. Everybody looks like they got a light in the daytime. Wait till you go through something. Then you're going to be able to pick out those around you. Oh, I see this. That's Fairweather Bob right there. And then you can deal with it as such. That don't mean you got to cut the person off. You just got to know. That's Fairweather Bob. As long as it's good weather, man, Bob going to be cool. Once it start raining, get the hell away from Bob. All right? Do understand that. Just know what you got around you. That's all. Go ahead.
Verse 11. And many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. And because lawlessness shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. When you therefore shall see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place. Whoso reads, let him understand. Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house. Neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. But pray you that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Shabbat day. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake those days shall be shortened. Then if any man shall say unto you, Lo, there's the Mashiach, or there, believe it not. For there shall arise false messiahs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that, if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect.
It's going to be so deep that the very elect will be almost fooled. Are y'all ready for that? If the very elect can be almost deceived, what happened for them low shooters? Old people, they keep Sabbath every now and then. They do a little something every now and then. What's going to happen with them? If it's going to be so miraculous in vision, and some of us will take anything and it pulls us off, how deep is this thing going to be? That the very elect could almost be fooled. Go ahead.
Behold, I have told you before. Wherefore, if they shall say unto you, Behold, he is in the desert, go not forth. Behold, he is in the secret chambers, believe it not. For as the lightning comes out of the east and shines even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
Right, means he shall appear in the east and then appear in the west. He will not appear in the west. See, here's the problem. The west control the world right now. So, in their mind, the things that they're going to present, why you going to show up in the east? You don't need to show up in the east. We done stole everything then. We own all that stuff. But he still got his order. Go ahead.
For wheresoever the carcass is, there will the eagles be gathered together. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken.
Well, if the sun gonna be darkened and the moon shall not give her light, all them sliver people who trying to keep their new moon gonna have some problems. Go ahead, bro.
And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other.
All right, let's go to our 1 Kings chapter 13. First Kings 13, and let's start that at verse 1.
And behold, there came a man of Elohim out of Yehudah by the word of Yahweh unto Bethel, and Jeroboam stood by the altar to burn incense. And he cried against the altar in the word of Yahweh, and said, O altar, altar, thus says Yahweh, behold, a child shall be born unto the house of David, Josiah by name, and upon you shall he offer the priest of the high places that burn incense upon you, and men's bones shall be burnt upon you. And he gave a sign the same day, saying, This is the sign which Yahweh hath spoken. Behold, the altar shall be rent, and the ashes that are upon it shall be poured out. And it came to pass, when King Jeroboam heard the saying of the man of Elohim, which had cried against the altar in Bethel, that he put forth his hand from the altar, saying, Lay hold on him. And his hand, which he put forth against him, dried up, so that he could not pull it in again to him. The altar also was rent, and the ashes poured out from the altar, according to the sign which the man of Elohim had given by the word of Yah. And the king answered and said unto the man of Elohim, Entreat now the face of Yahweh Yireh, and pray for me, that my hand may be restored me again. And the man of Elohim besought Yahweh, and the king's hand was restored him again, and became as it was before. And the king said unto the man of Elohim, Come home with me, and refresh yourself, and I'll give you a reward. And the man of Elohim said unto the king, If you will give me half your house, I will not go in with you, neither will I eat bread nor drink water in this place. For so was it charged me by the word of Yah, saying, Eat no bread nor drink water, nor turn again by the same way that you cameth. So he went another way, and returned not by the way that he came to Bethel. Now there dwelt an old prophet in Bethel, and his sons came and told him all the works of the man of Elohim, all the works that the man of Elohim had done that day in Bethel. The words which he had spoken unto the king, them they told also their father. And their father said unto them, What way went he? For his sons had seen what way the man of Elohim went, which came from Judea. And he said unto his sons, Saddle me the ass. So they saddled him the ass, and he rode thereon. And went after the man of Elohim, and found him sitting under an oak. And he said unto him, Are you the man of Elohim that came from Yehuda? And he said, I am. Then he said unto him, Come home with me, and eat bread. And he said, I may not return with you, nor go in with you. Neither will I eat bread nor drink water with you in this place.
Now he repeats his orders. Go ahead.
For it was said to me by the word of Yah, You shall eat no bread nor drink water there, nor turn again to go by the way that you cameth. He said unto him, I am a prophet also, as you are.
And is that all we need? Is that it? That's all it takes. Go ahead.
And an angel spake unto me by the word of Yah, saying, Bring him back with you into your house, that he may eat bread and drink water. But he lied unto him. So he went back with him.
Stop. Everything that he was given instruction, one individual will tell a lie. And he has disobeyed everything that Yahweh has given him. Is that all it takes? That's it? There wasn't even no scuffle. There wasn't even no, you coming back with me? No, I ain't. He should have been drugged back. All he did was say, I'm a prophet too. So how many of us just listen to somebody because they said they got some status, or they this, or they that, and boom, we've gone against everything that was given unto us. Just that quick. Go ahead.
You know, when you look at it once again, salvation given up to do what? To eat and drink.
Yeah. Told him not to go back. Told him not to eat. Somebody done came, and now automatically he has sold his salvation. Go ahead, brother. Y'all got to speak loud. Ain't another.
Like what he just told him. Like what he told him. I'm a prophet. It sounds sweet.
Yep.
You know?
Right. That's what get us. I'm a prophet too. And an angel, he didn't just stop there. He didn't just say, I'm a prophet too. No, he went on top of that. And an angel said, get him to come back. Now, you know it's evil angels too, right? See, folks keep talking about they receiving visions. You might want to ask some questions on who the hell gave you that vision. Because Lucifer got angels too. What it says, Lucifer was kicked out and his angels. See, he's already mustered up a revolt against Yahweh. And Yahweh's angels have changed sides to join the adversary. So Lucifer got his own angels. And they right in the midst of Yahweh's angels. So on the surface, they all look the same. But inside, they ain't. Go ahead.
So he went back with him, and did eat bread in his house, and drank water. And it came to pass, as they sat at the table, that the word of Yahweh came unto the prophet that brought him back.
Now, this is where it gets interesting. The word then come into the liar. The one that lied and brought him back. Now Yahweh is actually speaking through him for real. Go ahead.
And he cried unto the man of Elohim that came from Yehuda, saying, Thus says Yahweh, for as much as you have disobeyed the mouth of Yahweh, and have not kept the commandment which Yahweh your El commanded you, but came back, and have eaten bread and drunk water in the place of which Yahweh did say to you, Eat no bread and drink no water, your carcass shall not come onto the sepulchres of your fathers.
Now, understand something. You have, it says, beware for Yahweh proves you. So look at this situation. He was given a certain set of instructions. Here comes somebody who claimed to be a prophet and have divine sentence given unto them, and they say, do something else. As soon as he disobeys Yahweh, then the word actually comes through the same entity that told him to come back to now give him a real word from Yahweh. You shall be destroyed. Why was it so easy for somebody to change your direction? Then at that point, you have to consider, what use of you to Yahweh? If your direction can be changed that easily, what purpose can you actually serve for him? So you can see why it would benefit Yahweh. No. Go ahead, let's see. Let's see if they change direction, if anybody come and talk to him. So go and tell him, and tell him I said it. Go ahead.
There's a part missing, right, where he jumped across the table and choked him out.
Hey, it would have damn sure had to been a place missing if they took, now since you came with me, Yahweh gonna kill you. That will be after I beat you to a pulp. It's definitely a few verses that should have been missing out of that. Go ahead.
Verse 23. And it came to pass, after he had eaten bread, and after he had drunk, that he saddled for him the ass, to wit, for the prophet whom he had brought back. And when
you couldn't give me nothing. You done helped deceive me and I'm finna die, and now you gonna help saddle the ass? I don't want nothing from you. Move. Go ahead.
And when he was gone, a lion met him by the way, and slew him. And his carcass was cast in the way, and the ass stood by it. The lion also stood by the carcass.
Right, but the lion didn't bother nobody else. That's when judgment has nobody's name on it but you. Judgment will come and bypass 5 other people in the house. Get up. Go ahead. It's judgment. Ain't come for nobody but you. Go ahead.
And behold, men passed by and saw the carcass cast in the way, and the lion standing by the carcass. And they came and told it in the city where the old prophet dwelt. And when the prophet that brought him back from the way heard thereof, he said, It is the man of Elohim, who was disobedient unto the word of Yah. Therefore Yahweh has delivered him unto the lion, which has torn him.
This is the part that bothers you, because he's still in every part of this. But you have to wonder, did Yahweh push him to test the man? He's still around here. He done lied. The man dead now for listening to him. He's still moving around. Go ahead. Go ahead, brother.
But like you said, my brother, it shouldn't have been that easy.
No.
It shouldn't have been that easy at all. And not because somebody in front of you calls on the name of Yahweh, know who they are as a people.
Mm-hmm.
There's more to it than that.
Right.
It has to be more to it.
It should have been. It most definitely should have been more. But it shows how quickly we will just change sides. It is utterly amazing how easy we will change sides. And it really makes Yahweh look. What kind of prophet can you be to me if you can change that easily? Go ahead, bro.
And slain him, according to the word of Yah, which he spake unto him. And he spake to his sons, saying, Saddle me the ass. And they saddled him. And he went and found his carcass cast in the way, and the ass and the lion standing by the carcass. The lion had not eaten the carcass, nor torn the ass.
Right. The lion ain't bothering nobody else. The lion had instructions. Just bite this one right here. Now, don't eat him. Just bite, because they need to still be able to recognize him, So just bite him enough to kill him, and then leave him alone. So you just get a snack. Just snack on him. Go ahead.
And the prophet took up the carcass of the man of Elohim, and laid it upon the ass.
Wait a minute, man. First of all, there has to be Yahweh in a situation that a lion stands by the carcass, but you still go get the carcass and the lion just sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, man, let me tell you something. Lions fight over their kill. Okay? The lion didn't want this. He followed the instructions. He don't want this. He ain't bothered the ass or anybody else that's coming to get the carcass. Man, I don't know if y'all ever watched the Animal Channel, but it's a mean fighting that go down over a carcass, man. And I'm talking about they'll leave the carcass and go to the top of the hill and hide behind a tree to see who comes and try to take a nibble off the carcass. And then all of them dart down the hill and go and kill that one for that nibble. But he was able to go get the carcass and load it up. And the lion standing there. No, man, you got to know when Yahweh in a situation. Because that right there is death in lion land, my brother. You done violated. Go ahead.
And brought it back. And the old prophet came to the city to mourn and to bury him. Verse 30. And he laid his carcass in his own grave, and they mourned over him, saying, Alas, my brother. And it came to pass, after he had buried him, that he spake to his sons, saying, When I am dead, then bury me in the sepulchre wherein the man of Elohim is buried. Lay my bones beside his bones.
This is a lot of situation happening here. You have to wonder how much of this that Yahweh did oversee. We hear, hey, he lied unto him. Who pushed him to lie? Remember, King David said, maybe Yahweh has told him to curse me. Let him curse. Because the same way that told him to do it is the same one that's going to deal with him for saying it. Go ahead.
For the saying which he cried by the word of Yah against the altar in Bethel, and against all the houses of the high places which are in the cities of Samaria, shall surely come to pass. After this thing Jeroboam returned not from his evil way, but made again of the lowest of the people priest of the high places. Whosoever would, he consecrated him, and he became one of the priests of the high places.
Right. We just want somebody to oversee the gathering. We don't really care, what kind of qualifications they have. Go ahead.
And this thing became sin unto the house of Jeroboam, even to cut it off, and to destroy it from off the face of the earth.
But you see, Israel ain't changed, right? You see Israel still do the same thing. You can read in the history book, we do the same things right here to this day. Now, we must be careful not to judge things by the appearance. Yahweh allows appearances to appear a certain way as to judge the hearts of men. Imagine Moshe being told to instruct the children of Israel to marry from within their tribes while having a foreign woman on each arm, a Midianite on one hand and an Egyptian on the other. We don't have to imagine the indignation because his own sister initiated a revolt against him. Yahweh swiftly dealt with the revolt of Miriam, but the million-dollar question is, did Yahweh orchestrate the situation so he could judge the evil thoughts that Miriam had inside? We must keep in mind that Yahweh is in the end of a thing, and things are not always as they appear. Let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 21. Yahweh lets things go along so everybody will have an opportunity to put their 2 cents in and say how they feel, what they think, and what they believe. And then he comes and makes his way known at the end. See, if he makes his known up front, then even the false will pretend to be on Yahweh's side. So Yahweh doesn't reveal his side right away. That's why he didn't show up. The bridegroom don't show up until midnight. The bridegroom could have showed up during the daytime, where all the virgins would have appeared the same, the wise ones and the foolish ones. But it took darkness to expose that there was foolish virgins in the midst. Had he come in the daytime, you would have known that there were any foolish virgins there. So even his coming and his delayed coming was strategic, so that he can draw out those whose heart ain't right. That's what the darkness does. The darkness has a purpose. It's just not there to leave you in the dark. No. It's meant to expose every bit of light in you. Because if you got any light, you're going to shine it when it get grossly dark in your life. That's for certain. 1 Samuel chapter 21, and let's start that at verse 1.
Then came David to Nob to Ahimelech the priest. And Ahimelech was afraid at the meeting of David, and said unto him, Why are you alone, and no man with you? And David said unto Ahimelech the priest, The king has commanded me a business, and has said unto me, Let no man know anything of the business whereabout I send you, and what I have commanded you. and I have appointed my servants to such and such a place.
Now, understand at this point he's fearing for his life. Okay? Go ahead.
Now therefore, what is under your hand? Give me 5 loaves of bread in mine hand, or what there is present. And the priest answered Dawid and said, There is no common bread under my hand, but there is hallowed bread, if the young men have kept themselves at least from women. And Dawid answered the priest and said unto him, Of a truth, women have been kept from us about these 3 days, since I came out, and the vessels of the young men are holy, and the bread is in a manner common.
Now, you know, it's funny, you know, you read this and now they're about to partake of this holy bread. Women have been kept from them about these 3 days. When we make our appearance, we sanctify ourselves against the 3rd day. I got ready to mention that after my elder passed and talking to the person who's the priest over there now. And he said, no, don't mention that to people. I said, damn, you got a problem with the people sanctifying themselves against the 3rd day? Yeah, don't talk about that. Right. Go ahead.
You know, it even shows Dawid's knowledge of holy things.
Uh-huh.
Because he's not king at this point, but at least he knows, hey, we have to be sanctified at least 3 days. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Though were sanctified this day in the vessel. So the priest gave him hallowed bread, for there was no bread there but the showbread that was taken from before Yahweh to put hot bread in the day when it was taken away. Now a certain man of the servants of Saul was there that day, detained before Yah, and his name was Doeg, an Edomite, the chiefest of the herdmen that belonged to Saul.
Why is the chiefest of the herdmen an Edomite? But go ahead.
And Dawid said unto Ahimelech, And is there not here under your hand spear or sword? For I have neither brought my sword nor my weapons with me, because the king's business required haste. And the priest said, The sword of Goliath the Philistine, whom you slew in the valley of Elah, behold, it is here wrapped in a cloth behind the ephod.
And rightfully so, it should have been given to him anyway. He the one that slayed him. Go ahead.
If you will take that, take it, for there is no other save that here. And Dawid said, There's none like that, give it me. And Dawid arose and fled that day for fear of Saul, and went to Achish the king of Gath. And the servants of Achish said unto him, Is not this Dawid the king of the land? Did they not sing one to another of him in dances, saying, Saul has slain his thousands, and Dawid his 10,000s?
You see how quickly word get around without Facebook and Twitter? That other people tell, hey man, ain't that the dude they be singing about? Hey man, these ain't even the same people. Go ahead.
And Dawid laid up these words in his heart, and was sore afraid of Achish the king of Gath. And he changed his behavior before them, and feigned himself mad in their hands, and scrabbled on the doors of the gate, and let his spittle fall down upon his beard.
Right. This right here, pay attention. So he is now playing like he crazy. Go ahead.
Then said Achish unto his servants, Lo, you see the man is mad. Wherefore then have you brought him to me? Have I need of madmen, that you have brought this fellow to play the madman in my presence? Shall this fellow come into my house?
Because Dawid was afraid of what would happen, he started letting spit run all down his beard and clawing at the door like some kind of animal. But beware. He is playing like he's crazy, so the dude will underestimate him and not even deal with him. Now, this then makes us pay attention to something. Don't give credence to everything you see. For some of those things are acts so that people can pretend a certain way to get something out of you. Look how we're talking about a king, the greatest and the king with the most might of war and everything that Israel has ever seen. But here it is. The man think he crazy, all because of one physical display. Be careful of what physical displays you watch, and then you allow your thought process to be formed over a display that is all just that, a display. Now, I used to have a friend, and one day her mom started acting out of character. I had never seen her mom act that way before. And eventually, I asked her, what's up with your mom? She said she's getting into character. I said, for what? Then she told me that her mom was trying to get a disability check, so she had to make people think she was crazy. It took a lot to pull this off, but eventually, she got that check. It shows how easily we fall for the outward display of what's happening and ignore the deeper aspect of what's actually taking place. Let's go to Psalms 34. So she said these people, you got to be ready, so you just can't turn crazy on when you get to the office. You got to already be in crazy character by the time you pull up. So she's practicing in the house, as I'm now, and I'm noticing some very strange behavior. I'm like, what is she doing? Oh, she's got to get. So you got to allow crazy to come in. You got to welcome crazy in. You can't just jump into crazy like that. You got to get. I said, are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me? So you just sitting there, and then all of a sudden, some off the wall stuff started happening, and you looking like, what is going? She was getting into character. That was a character that she was about to play, and this went on for quite some time. But she got that check. Psalm 34. Let's start at verse 1.
I will bless Yahweh at all times. His praise shall continually be in my mouth. My soul shall make her boast in Yahweh. The humble shall hear thereof and be glad. O magnify Yahweh with me, and let us exalt his name together. I sought Yahweh, and he heard me, and delivered me from all my fears. They looked on to me, and were lightened, and their faces were not ashamed.
It says, I sought Yahweh, and he heard me, and delivered me from all my fears. Based on how you deal with something, Yahweh may turn around. If you deal with something in the wrong way, those very things that you fear, he will turn around and bring them right to your door. You got to be careful how you deal with certain things. He said, because this is what you feared and this is how you reacted, I'm going to bring that very concept to your door. Go ahead.
Verse 5. They looked on to him and were lightened, and their faces were not ashamed. This poor man cried, and Yahweh heard him, and saved him out of all his troubles. The angel of Yahweh encamps round about them that fear him, and delivers them. O taste and see that Yahweh is good. Blessed is the man that trusteth in him. O fear Yahweh, you his saints, for there is no want to them that fear him. The young lions do lack, and suffer hunger, but they that seek Yahweh shall not want any good thing. Come, you children, hearken unto me. I will teach you the fear of Yah. What man is he that desires life, and loves many days, that he may see good? Keep your tongue from evil, and your lips from speaking guile. Depart from evil, and do good. Seek peace, and pursue it. The eyes of Yahweh are upon the righteous, and his ears are open unto their cry. The face of Yahweh is against them that do evil, to cut off the remembrance of them from the earth. The righteous cry, and Yahweh hears, and delivers them out of all their troubles. Yahweh is near unto them that are of a broken heart, and saves such as be of a contrite spirit. Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but Yahweh delivers him out of them all. He keeps all his bones, not one of them is broken. Evil shall slay the wicked, and they that hate the righteous shall be desolate. Yahweh redeems the soul of his servants, and none of them that trust in him shall be desolate.
Now, when you look at these things, you have to consider that one thing happened to introduce another thing. Above this, it says the Psalm of David when he changed his behavior before Abimelech, who drove him away, and he departed. These are the things that are written right before Psalm 34 starts. So because of what happened in the previous writing, where he had to act like he was crazy, he then turned around and wrote some things, a song, if you will, based on the encounter that he had. So this is where Psalms 34 come from, It comes from the event. But then you look, there's a situation in verse 20. He keeps all of his bones. Not one of them is broken. He's writing about what's happening to him. It is prophetic because it then starts talking about the Messiah. When they got ready to break his bones, but he gave up the ghost so that none of his bones were broken. So you have to pay attention to something. Yahweh will let you go through something. You then do a writing, but the writing that you think is connected to what you went through is actually about something that you're going to go through way down the road. That's how deep dealing with Yahweh is. Let's go to Psalm chapter 1. I've done that and wrote songs. And they were about situations that I encountered. 5 years later, I realized they were about situations that I was about to encounter. That's how deep Yahweh is. Psalm 1, and let's start that at verse 1.
Blessed is the man that walks not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sits in the seat of the scornful.
Right. If you walk in the counsel of the ungodly, you are allowing them to give you counsel on how things ought to be done. Go ahead.
But his delight is in the law of Yah, and in his law does he meditate day and night. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that brings forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he does shall prosper. The ungodly are not so, but are like the chaff which the wind drives away. Therefore the ungodly shall not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous.
Therefore the ungodly shall not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. Yahweh is going to cause separation. Go ahead.
For Yahweh knows the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly shall perish. Why do the heathen rage, and the people imagine a vain thing? The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together, against Yahweh and against his anointed, saying, Let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. He that sits in the heavens shall laugh, the Adonai shall have them in derision. Then shall he speak unto them in his wrath, and vex them in his sore displeasure. Yet have I set my king upon my holy hill of Zion. I will declare the decree. Yahweh has said unto me, You are my son, this day have I begotten you. Ask of me, and I shall give you the heathen for your inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for your possession. You shall break them with a rod of iron. You shall dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. Be wise now, therefore, O you kings. Be instructed, you judges of the earth. Serve Yahweh with fear, and rejoice with trembling. Kiss the Son, lest he be angry, and you perish from the way, when his wrath is kindled but a little. Blessed are all they that put their trust in him.
All right, keep going.
Yahweh, how are they increased that trouble me? Many are they that rise up against me. Many there be which say of my soul, There is no help for him in Elohim. But you, O Yahweh, are a shield for me, my glory, and the lifter up of mine head. I cried unto Yahweh with my voice, and he heard me out of his holy hill. I laid me down and slept. I awaked, for Yahweh sustained me. I will not be afraid of 10,000s of people that have set themselves against me round about. Arise, O Yahweh, save me, O my Elohim, for you have smitten all mine enemies upon the cheekbone. You have broken the teeth of the ungodly.
You have broken the teeth of the ungodly. Yahweh is something else. And we'll end up, he says, all of these things, I will not be afraid of 10,000s of people that have set themselves against me round about. There are some things that Yahweh will make you go through so that you can write some things that will help other people when it's their time to go through it. Go ahead.
Verse 8, Salvation belongeth unto Yah, your blessing is upon your people. Hear me when I call, O Elohim of my righteousness. You have enlarged me when I was in distress. Have mercy upon me and hear my prayer. O you sons of men, how long will you turn my glory into shame? How long will you love vanity and seek after leasing? But now that Yahweh has set apart him that is godly for himself, Yahweh will hear when I call unto him. Stand in awe and sin not. Commune with your own heart upon your bed and be still. Offer the sacrifices of righteousness and put your trust in Yah. There be many that say, who will show us any good? Yahweh, lift you up the light of your countenance upon us. You have put gladness in my heart, more than in the time that their corn and their wine increased. I will both lay me down in peace and sleep. For you, Yahweh, only maketh me dwell in safety.
It says, verse 7, you have put gladness in my heart, more than in the time that their corn and their wine increase. And you understand, you got wine for the maize and corn liquor for the other ones. So they happy. That's false happiness, because you know that happiness go away when the buzz go. Go ahead.
Give ear to my words, O Yahweh. Consider my meditation. Hearken unto the voice of my cry, my King and my Elohim. For unto you will I pray. My voice shall you hear in the morning, O Yahweh. In the morning will I direct my prayer unto you, and will look up.
My voice shall you hear in the morning, O Yahweh. In the morning will I direct my prayer unto you, letting it be known the order of how my life goes. See, ain't nothing coming in front of you. When I get up in the morning, I'm going to deal with you. Everything else happens after that. This is what the whole thing. Him that loves Yahweh with his heart, all his heart. But then we look and we keep pushing Yahweh aside for this. We push Yahweh aside for that. We push Yahweh aside for that. Right. Yahweh is also seeing where he stands in your heart by your doings. Not by what you say. People can say, I love you all day long. That ain't what you judge that by. Watch what happened after that. Go ahead.
For you are not a El that has pleasure in wickedness, neither shall evil dwell with you. The foolish shall not stand in your sight. You hateth all workers of lawlessness. You shall destroy them that speak leasing. Yahweh will abhor the bloody and deceitful man. But as for me, I will come into your house in the multitude of your mercy, and in your fear will I worship toward your holy temple. Lead me, O Yahweh, in your righteousness because of mine enemies. Make your way straight before my face.
All right, let's go to Proverbs chapter 24. Proverbs 24, and let's start that at verse 1.
Be not you envious against evil men, neither desire to be with them. For their heart studies destruction, and their lips talk of mischief.
And we do envy the wicked. We see the things that the wicked are able to possess, and we want to possess some of those things. Go ahead.
But you know, it's like we don't understand what was said earlier. We're watching, not understanding they're being preserved for the day of judgment.
Exactly. And see, Yahweh may because he makes something bad to happen to you right off the rip. And you notice at that point, all right, I got to get out of this right here. But then he lets the other ones go. Oh, no, don't let nothing happen to him. Why? Because I'm going to let him keep going so I can destroy him. Some people don't understand. Bad things are happening because he's trying to save you. But once you get to a point where you don't listen to any of the things that are brought to you, Yahweh backs off. No. Protect him. Don't let nothing happen to him. Because I'm going to destroy him. Go ahead.
Verse 3. Through wisdom is an house built, and by understanding is it established. And by knowledge shall the chambers be filled with all precious and pleasant riches. A wise man is strong. Yes, a man of knowledge increases strength. For by wise counsel you shall make your war.
Right. By wise counsel you shall make your war. You find that some people make their war by the counsel a tall glass of Grey Goose. After they have consumed that glass of Grey Goose, they said, I'm ready to go to war. You should have talked to somebody before you did that. Should have had a conversation with somebody before you did that. Go ahead.
And in multitude of counselors there is safety.
Uh-huh.
Wisdom is too high for a fool. He opens not his mouth in the gate. He that devises to do evil shall be called a mischievous person. The thought of foolishness is sin, and the scorner is an abomination to men. If you faint in the day of adversity, your strength is small.
Look at that. If you faint in the day of adversity, your strength is small. It doesn't matter what something appears to be. Watch and see what it does when adversity comes. And Yahweh will allow adversity. Because it's those things that train us and get us ready for the day that we got to deal with the adversary. Face to face. Go ahead.
You know, that's the biggest harm being happened. Parents want to protect them from everything.
Yep.
And when adversity comes, they don't know how to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big, big problem.
Brother, half of the reason why we try to work and make enough money is because, you know, we wanted to get, you know, a better life for our children. Then you find out you do all of these things to get your kids out of the deepest part of the hood. And then you get a call one day and your child like, come get me. Where you at? In the deepest part of the hood? Damn, man! The hell you think I was working for? Read, man.
If you forbear to deliver them that are drawn unto death, and those that are ready to be slain. If you say it, behold, we knew it not. Does not he that pondered the heart consider it? And he that keeps your soul, does not he know it? And shall not he render to every man according to his works? My son, eat you honey, because it is good, and the honeycomb, which is sweet to your taste. So shall the knowledge of wisdom be unto your soul, when you have found it. Then there shall be a reward, and your expectation shall not be cut off. Lay not wait, O wicked man, against the dwelling of the righteous. Spoil not his resting place. For a just man falls 7 times and rises up again.
The just man, he's not just because he never failed. That is not what made him just. He's a just man. He failed. But what happened? He kept getting back up. You got some people fall one time and they just lay down. Now what are you doing? Well, I failed. Well, get up! Go ahead, bro.
But the wicked shall fall into mischief.
See, that's what happened. That's the difference. You may see 2 people fall. But watch what happens after that. The wicked one falls into condemnation. The just brother or sister gets up, dust themselves off, and get back on the path. That's the difference. You look at somebody because they failed, that's not what you're supposed to be watching. Watch what happens after they fall. That's what you're looking at. You're looking at the wrong damn things. Stop looking at anybody gonna fall at some point in time. Look at what happens afterward. That is how you judge a man and a woman. Go ahead, bro.
You know, brother, you were saying, you know, what you doing? Get up. But how many times do you keep going and tell this person to get up
Exactly.
until you realize?
Yep.
Hey, man, you want to stay there, stay there. I got to move on.
Exactly. And hard decisions about some of your deepest loved ones, family members, close friends, all that. You have to find out that some people are just they're comfortable on the ground. And you spending all your energy, time, spiritual might to try and help them up. And they just like being there. I had to realize how many calls I got to come and get some of my family members out of the deepest parts of the hood, that I had to just realize, damn it, they're what they like. I'm going 3 o'clock in the morning, go and pick somebody up. 2 days later, I get a call. Where you at? I'm back down here in the deep hood. But didn't I just come to save your life from that? Then you realize, no, this is what they like. So then, but so far you can go with that. Because I ain't going to lose what I got trying to help them stand up. I might help you stand up, but after that, I'm not going to sit there and hold you up. You got to know how to stand up after we help you up. Go ahead.
Verse 17. Rejoice not when your enemy falls, and let not your heart be glad when he stumbles. Lest Yahweh see it, and it displease him, and he turn away his wrath from him.
This is why you let things happen. Let them do what they do. When somebody fall, it could be your enemy. Don't go over there and throw no part that they fall. You can't. You may be the reason why Yahweh leave them alone. You go over there and throw a party because they fall, and then Yahweh said, "Oh, okay. Well, I was gonna do some more, but it looked like you happy. So y'all leave them alone. Back up. Y'all like I wasn't finished. I was just starting. But since you threw a party at their fall, I'm gonna leave them alone now. Go ahead.
Fret not yourself because of evil men, neither be you envious at the wicked. For there shall be no reward to the evil man. The candle of the wicked shall be put out. My son, fear you Yahweh and the king, and meddle not with them that are given to change. For their calamity shall rise suddenly, and who knows the ruin of them both. These things also belong to the wise. It is not good to have respect of persons in judgment. He that says unto the wicked, you are righteous.
And this is what we do to our friends by hanging with them. We justify their cause even when their cause ain't right. We justify those things, and it shows that we have respect of persons in judgment. We'll do this when it comes to that person, but we won't do it when it comes down to our friend or close loved one. It's hypocrisy. Go ahead.
Him shall the people curse. Nations shall abhor him. But to him that rebuke him shall be delight, and a good blessing shall come upon them.
Right. But to them that rebuke him, this is the part we try to avoid. We try to avoid the rebuke part. That's the part that's going to get you your spiritual stripes with Elohim. He want to see if you going to rebuke in those places that you like the most. Anybody can rebuke the person they didn't care about. No. That ain't where you get your stripes at. You count that all wrong. Did you go and rebuke the person that you love the most? That's how you get your stripes. That's why you still see people that's been serving for years and they ain't even got no private stripes. Damn, how long you been in this army? Because they won't rebuke nobody close to them, but they'll go and rebuke somebody else. No, man. Who you done rebuke that live with you? Right. That's why you ain't got no stripes. Go ahead, bro.
Every man shall kiss his lips that gives a right answer. Prepare your work without, and make it fit for yourself in the field, and afterwards build your house. Be not a witness against your neighbor without cause, and deceive not with your lips. Say not, I will do so to him as he has done to me. I will render to the man according to his work.
And Yahweh gonna do something to you. See? Let Yahweh do his job, man. You can't do his job. He know what he doing. See, people will pretend that they got all this stuff together. You know, they'll be smiling in front of you and then go home and cry all night. Yahweh know that. You don't. So the things you think you're going to do to them, Yahweh like, no. That ain't what you need to do. You need to do this over here. Let Yahweh do his job. They can go ahead and pretend and do all that. Let Yahweh do his job. Trust me. He know exactly which way to go and how far to go and when to do it. Go ahead.
I went by the field of the slothful, and by the vineyard of the man void of understanding. And lo, it was all grown over with thorns and nettles, and covered the face thereof, and the stone wall thereof was broken down. Then I saw and considered it well. I looked upon it, and received instruction. Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep. So shall your poverty come as one that travails, and your want as an armed man.
All right. Well, let us hear the conclusion of this matter. Let's go to James chapter 1. James chapter 1. And let's start that at verse 1.
Jacob, a servant of Elohim and of the Adonai Yahshua HaMashiach, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting.
To the 12 tribes that are scattered. How is it that now we believe that the children of Israel are in the same location? When we can easily see that everybody knew that the 12 tribes were scattered abroad. Now all of a sudden, they all appeared in Israel in 1948. And the Christians help perpetuate that lie. Okay? So understand, there's two branches of that lie. Yet, the part of the New Testament that they say they believe in does not agree with the lie that the Gentiles help uphold, that all the Jews just appeared in Israel in 1948. How they get scattered and then appear together? Go ahead.
You know, even one to add to that, it says they were scattered, right?
Uh-huh.
So if this 12 tribe chart got specific tribes in certain places, then they were segregated.
Right.
They weren't scattered.
Right.
There's a difference.
It's a very big difference, brother. Don't nobody scatter according to tribal breakdown. That has got to be the dumbest thing I ever heard in my life. We scattered, but everybody scattered according to the bloodlines that you can't see. If I throw a grenade over there, I don't know the difference between which one of these dudes is family or not. And I guarantee you, they ain't running according to family when I throw that damn grenade. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you. When I throw it, they getting the hell on trying to save limb and life. They're not running saying, oh, Judah went this way. Read, man.
My brethren, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations, knowing this, that the trying of your faith works patience.
The trying of your faith works patience. There are certain things that have to happen. Cephas made some serious issues and mistakes. But then you talk about later on, he was able to walk by and heal people. That means he went through those trials and he was built up better. But hey, he was quite embarrassed at that fall. Because he was talking some mighty strong stuff. Although all these people might deny you, not will I. And he denied louder than everybody. I say I don't know the man. But he came up from that. So it's not a matter of whether or not you fall. It's a matter of whether or not you decide to get back up. Go ahead, bro.
But let patience have her perfect work, that you may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of Elohim, that gives to all men liberally, and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him. But let him ask in faith, nothing wavering. For he that wavers is like a wave of the sea driven with the wind and tossed.
If you're driven with the wind, you go whichever way the wind go. That means you have no stability in your spirit. The wind blow left, you go left. Wind blow right, you go right. Something happen over here, it affects how you do something over there. But when your eyes are focused on the prize at hand, everything don't change your direction. Go ahead.
For let not that man think that he shall receive anything of the Adonai. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways.
Right, and it even affects how Yahweh is going to deal with your prayer. He looks and see that you operate as a double-minded individual, and let him not think that he shall receive anything. He said, I'm not answering that. I'm not even dealing with that. Go ahead.
Let the brother of low degree rejoice in that he is exalted, but the rich in that he is made low, because as the flower of the grass he shall pass away. For the sun is no sooner risen with a burning heat, but it withers the grass, and the flower thereof falls, and the grace of the fashion of it perishes. So also shall the rich man fade away in his ways. Blessed is the man that endures temptation.
Uh-huh.
For when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life,
When he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life. Go ahead.
which the Adonai has promised to them that love him. Let no man say when he is tempted, I am tempted of Elohim.
Uh-huh.
For Elohim cannot be tempted with evil, neither tempts he any man.
But
every man is tempted when he's drawn away of his own lust and enticed.
right. So it's that own thing that we're carrying around that encourages that temptation. We encourage the trial. Go ahead.
Then when lust has conceived, it brings forth sin. And sin, when it is finished, brings forth death.
Uh-huh.
Do not err, my beloved brethren. Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above.
Okay, hold on. Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above. So if Yahweh gives you something, you're going to be able to accept that gift and still do the things that he needs you to do. If you get a gift that causes you not to do what Yahweh needs for you to do, you got to ask yourself, who gave you that gift? Go ahead.
And comes down from the Father of lights, with whom is no variableness, neither shadow of turning.
Because Lucifer will love to give you something that's going to keep you from doing what you're supposed to do. You want that spaceship? I'll give you that spaceship. If I give you that spaceship, you're probably going to ride downtown during the club time a lot, ain't you? You know what? Here you go. Here you go. Take the cup. You know what? Go ahead and put some 20s on there. Put some 20s on there. No, put it on me. I got this. Put some 20s on there. Yeah. Uh-huh. Next thing you know, you can't go to none of the stuff that you're supposed to be going to because you're making sure that, you got to ride by all the clubs in your spaceship on the 20s. Oh, yeah, Lucifer definitely give you that. Mm-hmm. Because see, then when it's time for you to be somewhere in the morning, you're going to be asleep because you was out late. Right. Go ahead.
Of his own will begat he us with the word of truth, that we should be a kind of first fruits of his creatures. Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. For the wrath of man works not the righteousness of Elohim. Wherefore, lay apart all filthiness and superfluity of naughtiness, and receive with meekness the engrafted word, which is able to save your souls. But be you doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves.
Uh-huh.
For if any be a hearer of the word, and not a doer, he is like unto a man beholding his natural face in a glass.
Uh-huh.
For he beholds himself, and goes his way, and straightway forgets what manner of man he was.
If it says for he beholds his natural face in a glass, that means he looked in the mirror. He saw himself and then forgot what he looked like. Go ahead.
But whoso looks into the perfect law of liberty and continues therein, he being not a forgetful hearer, but a doer of the work, this man shall be blessed in his deed.
Uh-huh.
If any man among you seem to be religious, and bridles not his tongue, but deceives his own heart, this man's religion is vain.
Right. You're going to find that in situations that could have been avoided, but the talebearer kept them going. See, there's one situation where, people may be in this little circle talking about people in this circle, but then there's a talebearer that keeps taking the tales from one group to the other. See, them circles could have had indignation against each other, but never met up with each other. But then you got one talebearer that bounces back from group to group. That's what continues the altercation. Where no wood is, the fire goes out. But when a talebearer keeps coming back, and the talebearer never tell their part of the story. Talebearer say, that brother says such and such about you. He said, oh yeah, well you tell that brother such and such. Now, that brother goes back. Now, he never says, well, I did tell them this, and then they said this in response to that. They never include the part they said. Well, that brother said this about you. Now, you got an ism and a schism going on that would not go on if there was not a talebearer jumping back from side to side, carrying about back and forth messages. So you have to be careful, lest you end up being the talebearer that keeps unnecessary flames going. If you're going to deal with it, put the whole thing on the table and deal with it. But that passing messages back and forth end up causing unnecessary strife. Go ahead, brother.
Pure religion and undefiled before Elohim and the Father is this: to visit the fatherless and widows in their affliction, and to keep himself unspotted from the world.
All right, that is all that we're going to do for today. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.